I got a question. Why do people think it's okay if you're online and you can bully somebody? Like you can go in a comment box on whatever app you are and start saying things. I know it's your belief system, but why are you projecting your belief system on somebody else? Because that's not right. I don't care what the topic is about or why something you don't like, then leave. Like if you don't like something that was said, leave. Like people think computation and text message is like appropriate. Like it's interesting that we live in this world where we think we can bully each other on the internet, and that's okay. Like bullying in school isn't tolerated. You got suspended or you got punched in the face. So why is cyberbullying okay? Like why do people think it's okay to go online and attack somebody because they look a certain way or they dress a certain way or they are? Why don't we go back to things like in the olden days where we got along with each other? We didn't have to act all tough. Like why can't we be gentle, loving to somebody? It's just kind of interesting when you think about that. Like people say things to people and you're like, that's just rude. Like if I wasn't behind this camera or I wasn't texting in this, would you say that to me? Because it's rude. Like people say something rude to somebody and then there's no ramifications of it. So there needs to be ramifications. It's kind of sad that people or somebody says something that affects your trauma, then why don't you grow on it? Why don't you learn from it? Why don't you fix whatever the problem is? Like when somebody says something that you don't like to somebody else, why don't you evaluate yourself and be like, okay, am I doing something wrong? Am I saying something wrong? Am I out of line? Am I doing something that's not right? Like, come on, people. Like in society, we don't know any better. Like, you say something to me that's rude and you want to like try to get some attention out of me. So you think that's okay? Or you're just like trying to prove a point that you're being unkind, whatever the situation is. And I think that's kind of interesting when people do things that are not kind and then somebody gets mad. Okay, maybe the reason that I'm getting mad is because of I feel like you're not treating me fairly in that situation, and that's okay. But what makes that right to assault somebody on the internet or bully somebody on the internet? You think it's okay to do that? But if you did that in person and you punch somebody and one of you guys would go to jail, there's like ramifications behind this. But when we're on the internet, it's okay. Like, hello? Like, you think it's okay to bully somebody because they said something that you don't like, or you brought up a topic about politics or religion, and people don't want to talk about that in public settings or private settings or whatever. And then you wonder why somebody gets mad. Why don't you like evaluate like why they're getting mad or what the situation is, why things are playing out the way they are. Like self-reflection is everything. Like you see what's going on and then you want to make somebody else mad because it gives you joy, it gives you pleasure. Like what's the agenda here?